What is up? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. And man, jumping right into it, I got a special one for you. This is the Ribble Ultra SLR one-piece handlebar cockpit. This thing is hella dope, man. If you've been on the channel for a little while, I recently picked up the Ribble Ultra, and one of the things that really had my interest with this bike was this handlebar. It was just crazy dope. And what I wanted to do was show you kind of like a up close and personal of this bar, because I've never seen one or a video like this on YouTube. So I want to show you this, right? If you were liking the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. So the Ribble Ultra, right? It is a very dope bike, but the handlebar, look at this thing, man. It is insane, bro. Insane. It is a very good looking bar. It is super aggressive, but also super comfortable, in my opinion. And I'm going to show you some of the ergonomics that's in this bar, the things I like about it, some of the features, different hand positions, and things of that nature. So, yeah. Oh, man. And also, I'm going to take the shifters off and show you how much it weighs too, because it is a pretty hefty bar. But initially, when I first got the bike and it was on the bar, I was like, man, I wonder what it's going to be like riding this thing, because it is super narrow. And I'm currently riding some 36 bars on a couple of my bikes in 38s. I'm pretty much riding 36s and 38s, right? And I'm used to that. The 36 is love. I like the 38s, but I personally prefer the 36s. So right off, I'm going to show you what this bar measures. And for some other specifics about this bar has 100 stem length and it has an 80 reach. So a total bar system is 180, because you just had that 100 plus the 80. So in the where the controls mount, center to center, it is 34 centimeters. That is tiny, bro. That is tiny. And in the drops, center to center, it is 40 centimeters. So that was a very unique flare, and I've never had a bar with those types of dimensions. But in the hoods, 34 was actually really comfortable, man. And then coming down and then still having that wide 40 in the base when you are descending or when you are sprinting, or just if you want to do some type of movement out the saddle and you are holding the bars and the drops, it was really comfortable, man. And I was super surprised on how comfortable it was. Now, besides just the general shape, when you look at this bar, some of the things that makes this bar unique is how it's designed, right? When you are looking at the aero profile of the bar, you'll notice it is super thick in this area. And what Ribble says is this area is a lot thicker and it's supposed to like trip the wind and help break it up. So as it's in line with your legs, it just gives you a better airflow and it's more aerodynamic. I don't have any wind tunnel testing for that, but I will say this. With this thickness here, when I am riding this bar and I'm in the tops, man, it is super comfortable because you have the thickness of the bar. I personally like large grip things, so when I'm riding and I'm in the tops, it's just very comfortable because it really fills up your hand versus a thinner bar, and it's kind of like, your fingers may come down and touch your palms or something like that. But when you are riding up here, man, it is very comfortable. I really do like that about that. I like the way it looks in the front, just the aesthetics. It looks very beefy, very aggressive, but then also as far as hand placement, it feels really good. Also, another thing about the hand placement when you are in the tops, if you look at the bar, it kind of flares up and it looks kind of funny, and you would wonder, or you would think like, is that actually comfortable, but it is very, very comfortable. And where your hands rest is kind of on an angle. But like I said, when I'm in the tops and I'm riding, it is very comfortable, man. Very comfortable. I was super, super surprised on how comfortable it was, right? Another riding position too. Um, I would say pretty much every riding position in this bar is comfortable, right? So I was just talking about the tops. If you were ever on the sides and you were just resting here and you were riding a bike, I felt this was very comfortable too. One of the things I like is on the sides, it has this sweep, right? And as the bar sweeps, it's really round, but your hand just rests there perfectly. So a lot of times when I'm riding here, like I said, super comfortable. And then when you move up into the hoods, it's like everything's just in line. I feel like the way the shifters align, this kind of dip that's in here, I feel like your hand just rests there perfect. It is, I'm telling you, this is a super ergonomic bar. And the Ribble has been on the market for a while. So just to think that the technology and science that went behind this bar, it's been on the market for a minute. So Ribble has figured this out long, long time ago, right? Also, another cool thing about this bar is that it's designed to work without bar tape. So when you get down to the drops have like a special kind of texture. And you can see where it starts. It kind of starts here and then it goes down. And it has like kind of like a texture feel. Imagine like almost like a fiber paste type of feel, but just a little more aggressive, but not too aggressive like it's going to cut up your hand or anything like that. And it's actually very, very comfortable even when your hands get kind of wet. So I was kind of worried about that and interested about it. But when you're actually riding it, man, it is on point, right? Another thing about the drops is if you look at the shape of the drops, you see that it kind of cuts off on the side and then on the top of the bar is flat. I really like the shape of that because, like I said, when you are riding, it's like the way your hand rests and lays, it is perfect. And it feels like, not feels like, but they took the design from two bars. The Cannondale knot bars on the base of the bar is flat, right? And then on the Vision bars, the the sides of the bar is cut. But with the Ribble bar, it has both. It has the flat and it has the curvature here. And like I said, when you're in the drops and your hands are resting there, man, it's perfect, man. It is perfect. I was really, really impressed with that. So from all the different riding positions, it is on point. Very thought out. Um, Another unique thing about this bar is if you look at the computer mount, right? On the computer mount right here, there's this button and it's the subscribe button. So if you're liking the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. But another feature about this bar is the shifters are a direct mount. There is no collar that goes over the drops so that the shifter connects to. Your shifter connects directly to the bar. Now, for those that have seen this bar, they may already know that it connects, but you're probably wondering, once the shifter is on the bar, how much adjustability do you have? Because what if you're riding the bike, right, and the bar is set up, and let's say you don't want your levers tilted all the way in, right? Let's say you want them more out. Or what if the angle of the shifters isn't what you like? What if it isn't your personal preference? Can you adjust that? I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. And that's another reason why I want to make this video so I can show you that, right? So I'm going to peel these hoods back so you can kind of see, right? This was really, really dope. It has its own proprietary system for how it connects, but then you have all the adjustments in the world, right? So right off the bat, the shifter connects and it uses a T bolt, well, star socket, and it's a T30, right? It is a T30 and it connects up right here to the shifters. Once it is connected, if I got too much zoom, once it is connected, you'll have the ability to raise the bar, well, drop your shifters down and raise them up and you will also have the ability to change the tilt, how much you want your levers in or out. And I'm going to show you that once I get this thing loose. All right, so now that the shifter is loose, you can see that you can bring the shifter down. So if you want it more down, if you want to bring the shifter more up, you can bring it all the way up. It's a lot of adjustment as far as where you want your shifter to be, right? And then, like I said, if you don't want your shifter tilted all the way in, you can tilt it more out. But it's a whole lot of adjustment, right? And then if you look at this internal part where the brake hose is route, it is a whole bunch of space in here. As far as cable routing, it was very easy to route the cables. It is not difficult at all. I would say this is one of the easier bars I have set up. Also, with that direct mount, you're probably wondering what the rest of that system looks like, right? You have these rubber grommets that go on the back side of the bars, right? And they go down here, and this grommet covers up this hole. And when you are inside this hole, that's where the back side of the direct mount screw is. And what it is a plate that's in there, and I'm going to show you what that plate looks like. It's a plate that's in there, and this bolt screws directly into that plate and connects the shifter to the bar. But it's a pretty unique system. I like it. It's not cumbersome. It's very easy to navigate. It's nothing super difficult. I know people would see the Ribble bike, they would see the bar, you'd probably be thinking like, man, what is it like to configure this bar or hook this bike up and all this stuff? And it's really not bad at all, right? So this screw is crazy long, as you can see, right? So this is the screw, and can I get this plate out of here? There we go. And this is that plate that's on the back side. This plate goes on the back side of, well, it goes in the inside of the bar on the back side of this, and you got your long bolt. The bolt connects up, and then it pulls through, and it connects the shifter to the bar. Like I said, if you look inside here, there's so much space, man. It is very easy to route cables in there. It is not hard at all. Like I said, you would see this bar system and you would think like, man, what is it like routing these cables and all this stuff? And I'm telling you, it's not hard at all. Now, the rest of the cable routing, right? This is like pretty much a standard system. A lot of the newer bars now, it's like pretty much once you come past the steer tube, they have the opening that's very close to the steer tube, and you route the cables straight through. So you route the cables through, and that's it. And inside of this is completely hollow. So, like I said, it is super easy to hook this bar up, right? Now, another thing you probably want to know is how much does this bar system weigh? And I don't know how much it weighs, but we're about to find out, right? Because like I said, this is a pretty hefty bar, man. This is a big bar. I want to bet that it is probably, I want to say high 300s. High 300s. It might even be 400 grams, man. If it's 400 grams, that's going to be freaking crazy. But I would say like high 300s. I'm betting the high 300s, but we are about to see. I almost got this other shifter off. This dang on screw is crazy long, bro. Crazy long. So also, you know, like I said, I wanted to take this bar off of the bike so I can show you this, but I'm also going to do some experimenting, and I'm going to put this bar on another bike, right? And what that bike is, that's going to be another video for another time. Let me grab this scale real quick.
A few moments later.
All right, here we go. Let's get this weight. We need grams. We got to zeroize this cup. And how we're going to weigh, we got these back plates that connect the shifters which is 13 grams. And we got these long bolts that you need to assemble that. We are at 30 grams. And you also got the covers that go on the backside or the little grommets. We're at about 40 grams. And now the bar with the computer mount. And let's see how much this thing weighs. Let me put it up here. Oh my goodness, bro. 564 grams. That is freaking insane. Damn. 564 grams. Bro, that is crazy weight right there, man. Crazy weight. This is over a pound. This whole system is over a pound. Is it worth it? I honestly want to say yes, man. I honestly want to say yes. If you wanted something that's truly aero and just like the ergonomics of the bar, it is super, super comfortable because when I first got the Ribble, I went out and rode it. I think I did about 100 miles, right, over a couple rides. And when I hopped off of this bar and then went to like a regular bar, um, the regular bar just felt weird, man. I was like, man, this is not comfortable at all. And like I said, with the different hand positions, like when you ride in the tops, you know, if I'm in the hoods, when I'm in the drops, this bar was so freaking comfortable. I had got so used to it that when I got on a different bar system, I was kind of like, wow, that Ribble bar is what's up. So, um, yeah, this is the Ribble Ultra one piece bar, the integrated cockpit. Like I said, I've seen the Ribble bike all over the place. I've seen some videos of it on YouTube, but I've never seen anybody specifically talking about this bar system. So I definitely wanted to hop on here and show you this bar system so you can see it firsthand. I really wish Ribble would offer this bar by itself. If Ribble offered this bar by itself to the market, how much would I be willing to pay for it? I'd be willing to pay a little bit of money for it, man. I'd pay $500-$600 for it, easy, just because it is a super dope bar. But if you are not a weight weenie and you want the aerodynamics and just the comfort and the ergonomics, this is a bar system for you. As stated, if you are liking the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's your boy, Mr. Rob Armstrong, and I am out.